We're here.
I wish I could give you this feeling. I wish I could give you this feeling. On the corner.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Corner Podcast. Kel Dansby here with the old man Andreas Hale. And if you're watching on YouTube, you guys see two guests here. And people are calling it a super show. I like to call it like a forbidden door. You know, of our own.
Done.
Forbidden
Right.
door adjacent.
We have Peter Rosenberg, Stat Guy Craig, Chief Heat joining us today. Yeah, you know, like a little dream tag team matchup here.
Yeah.
I like it.
And we brought our business manager, Brian Dipperstein, as well. The whole squad is here. We're representing.
I'm telling you.
Happy to be here on this great post Money in the Bank day.
I know. I'm still on the Money in the Bank high.
I know.
I know you would be.
Yeah, I am.
You knew.
It was a great show.
I saw a tweet from SGG yesterday that he said, congratulations, Liv Morgan. You made a fan tonight.
She did.
Made a fan?
She made. Yeah,
He wasn't there. He
didn't
wasn't
like
over
it.
there.
I was not. And P will tell you, like, you know, I saw the groundswell of support from the fans. I saw the online love she was getting, but there was something that wasn't there for me. And who knows? Maybe it was just not seeing it in person and experiencing it. But when she came out and when she won the briefcase, I was like, okay, I'm happy about this.
I don't fully disagree with SGG. Like, even as people really started to feel like Liv big time, and I'm like a big personal supporter. I love her. I think she's a lovely person, and I was so happy to see her get the opportunity.
She's a great guy.
She's a great guy. I also felt like I was like, is it all the way connecting for me though, or is it kind of hyped to some degree? And I will say, when she grabbed that briefcase yesterday, it felt like, no, this is something. There's something here for real.
And there were so many teases. The teases were really, to me, it like built that anticipation.
Yeah.
Because you could see, and really well done by them in that match, because they knew what the crowd was thinking. And it was just like, all right, we teased this person. And then they're like, no, let Liv climb after them. You know, so it's one of those things where it was constant teases. Becky would climb, then Liv would climb.
Right.
You know, like, and then it was just like,
That's the beauty of that match, right? Like, when you're in person for Money in the Bank, you remember why it's thought of as potentially being, you know, the next major pay-per-view, as obviously was the intention this year with the Allegiant Stadium thing. You get it because it is really satisfying from a consumer standpoint. It's hard to walk away from a Money in the Bank match and not feel pretty good about what you got.
Of course. So I do have a problem though.
Okay.
of course.
They have a problem. It's not a Liv Morgan problem, it's a Lacey Evans problem. They've been laying it on thick with Lacey, and that crowd nuked her last night.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Right.
I mean,
Rightfully so.
she's a phenomenal heel. I think this forcing her as a babyface has been really rough for them. And I think they found out, they was like, oh shit, we done gave you her life story. And the crowd's like, I don't want that.
Listen, I'm gonna speak. I don't think this is gonna be speaking out of school. I think I can say this in a way that's appropriate. But I saw Lacey last night afterwards, and she was very aware of the reception she received. And I said to her right away, I just said, hey, it does not matter how they reacted. They reacted.
That's the key.
And I said, just to be honest with you, because I hadn't seen her since she's come back. I said, I don't really know her. And I said to her, I was like, I've been very confused about what your presentation's been supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like, they did that Long Island SmackDown 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, something like that.
Please show her the proper respect.
It was very stand up and show me the proper respect, right? So I said to her, I was like, that to me was very like intentionally leading to where we are right now. So
that's a heel gimmick.
It is. It is.
It might. It may be one of those things that appeared so bad when it started that actually may be a stroke of Vince's genius. Because she said, I wasn't in the arena at that moment. How bad were the boos when she would climb the ladder?
I was about fifth row, right behind the announce table, and when she touched the ladder, she got booed.
Right.
When she got any offense, she got booed. And like you said, I also know that she was very aware, not from speaking to her, but from seeing her face from that close to the ring and hearing that crowd reaction.
Wow.
She knew that it didn't click.
I hope they retcon this and turn it to the heel. She's a proper heel. Right?
Absolutely.
She's a proper heel. And through that match, I kept watching because I picked Lacey to win because I was like, Vince loves her. So, you can give her
July
a shot.
4th weekend.
Yeah, I thought all those things would line up. But then as soon as she touched the ladder, I was like, oh, shit, this might not work. But if they fix it, she'll be just fine.
Their problem is they have too many heels.
Right.
In the women's division. So it's like, she can be a great heel, right? Are you a better heel than Charlotte?
Charlotte's...
No.
Is Charlotte a heel though? Like that's the thing.
She's always,
Charlotte's a tough one because she always gets booed in some ways, but she's also, I believe Charlotte's on the precipice of being fully respected as a babyface. I think she's at the point now of like, she's so decorated and so good that I think that she's poised with the right story. Charlotte could actually finally get cheered properly. I think she could.
She's like Triple H to me, where she could be a babyface, but I don't want to say she buries, right? But sooner or later, she's going over on everyone, and it's going to wear people thin.
Right.
And she's always going to end up a heel again because she's good enough. She should go over on most of the roster. But if you do it for one feud, where it's like, okay, heel Bayley comes back and Bayley and Charlotte, like Charlotte could be a great babyface. But after she disposes of Bayley, it's just like, you're going to put her over on who? Like,
right.
So it's like the next person you put her over on is like right back to being a heel because she's built to win. Every reign is so good every time. And then people just dislike that. Triple H had the same thing. It was like when Triple H was a face, it was like, oh, cool. And then it was like right back to authority.
Yeah.
Or right back to,
it's a good take. No, you're right. It's a very good point.
But it also
hard
worked out really well for Triple H. So I don't know.
No, right. It all worked
She's
out.
not complaining.
That's a fact.
It's not a knock on Charlotte.
I enjoyed the match. I loved Becky Lynch throughout this match.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Even if she's a heel, she's a face. Like she's the one that can.
She's the opposite.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the anti-Charlotte in that you can make her a heel all you want. Everyone's going to cheer her in some way. I'm curious. Her character to me, they've been like hanging on to, not allow. I wanted it to go full blown crazy. When the hair got cut, I was like, it's time now for her to like show up with pieces of it missing, looking just like a maniac, you know? And they seem to like be not quite going all the way there. I'm curious now with Liv getting the briefcase and Becky now being basically fully removed from Bianca Belair, not having any reasonable claim to the women's title, where you now go with Becky, who in many ways is still like the biggest star of the women's division or very close to it, you know?
She definitely is very close to it. But do they waste that though? Like on just these filler pay-per-views? Not to say that Money in the Bank was, but that's what it ended up being.
Yep.
So like, do they save Becky going full-blown crazy for like a Survivor Series maybe, or SummerSlam, or Clash at the Castle?
It feels like to me, enough time has passed where I don't believe they're doing it. I don't think she's going to end up being that. I now have my hopes up. Maybe they won't go that. Maybe they'll go monster heel couple, Becky and Seth, which I think could be a lot of fun as well.
Down on their luck for a little bit.
Get
back up.
And run them against Montez and Bianca one day and have a lot of money to make.
A whole lot of money. So, Liv cashes in. And I asked on Twitter, I said, what's the longest that somebody's gone on this with the briefcase? It was like, Carmella, 267 days. It's like, who's next? Everybody else has had the briefcase for less than a week.
All the women.
Of all the women.
Wow.
And it made me think, I was like, damn, well, now the briefcase is just a title chance immediately. I had an issue with Liv cashing in on Ronda because Ronda's been pinned 3 times. Charlotte, Becky, Liv.
Yeah.
All of them have been like these roll-up shits, right? Well, except for Charlotte, pinned her clean. How do we make Liv believable that if they run this back with Ronda, that we believe that Liv can beat Ronda clean? Because this presentation of Ronda is almost unbeatable. You got to do something snaky to her, and Liv's not that.
I got to tell you, I immediately groaned. I was talking with Ariel Helwani. We were watching on a monitor, and when it happened, I was like, wait, why'd they go roll up? And why'd she not get in one lick of offense?
Right.
It made no sense. So real quick, Ronda was in this. First of all, it was brilliant booking to start before that.
Yes.
Because the Natalya thing, which to me had no juice, really.
None.
All of a sudden, though, Natalya goes from you don't remotely believe she can win to she's the perfect person to wear her down, though. Yeah. Because she's a credible performer. So it's like, why couldn't she hurt her with a sharpshooter, all these things? So that actually turned out to be a brilliant play, in my opinion. But now Ronda's hurt. Here comes Liv. Ronda has enough in the tank to put on a full ankle lock and almost get Liv to tap in the ankle lock. But then afterwards, Liv gets out and just beats her with a roll-up. Like, how? I don't understand. Why couldn't she have just hit her with a kick? One thing.
That's it.
That was my problem.
Liv did take her legs out from under her. Like you said, Natty worked those legs with the sharpshooter. Liv kicked her knees out from under her and then sat right on her knees. So it's pretty hard to kick out with no legs. You know, that's how you won the 24/7.
That's a great point.
It's pretty hard to kick out with no legs.
Good strategy. I would have liked to see a punch or a kick. Or
I would have too.
Even Seth, when he cashed in on Brock, and Brock was nuclear when he was beating Roman and everything at Mania, Seth got a curb stomp.
Well, Seth fought a full match. Seth fought a full match, right? Seth almost ate an F5. Seth got suplexed.
Yeah.
Brock got speared while Seth was in his arms. So it's like, Seth worked almost a full match right there with Brock and Roman.
Again, same Liv got ankle locked. Like, give her a finisher. Nami's still there.
Give me something because they're going to have to run this back. And I just don't you got 4 weeks until SummerSlam. About 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to build, live into this credible, where it's believable. I don't want to see her winning with roll-ups.
But that's
the champ.
But that's the thing, right? So Liv has just arrived. So now this is where she proves herself, right? It's not that she proves herself and then she gets the championship. She's champion now, and this is where she proves herself. I think about, Bret Hart. He beat Ric Flair, like dirtiest player in the game. It was a hard-fought match, but he won. And then that's when he proved himself. And then that's when he went through basically every heel on the roster. And by the time he ran up against Yokozuna, unstoppable-looking Yokozuna, it was like, well, he's going to beat him too. He didn't, but in the space between beating Ric Flair, who in 92 was thought of as the greatest of all time,
yes,
and then catching Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9 in 93, that was the space where we said, okay, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. We believe that. So Liv's had the championship for not even 24 hours now.
So you're real quick, SGG.
Flair's a little different.
This is the space.
No, Brett's a little different.
You
You think is Liv about to pull a Bret Hart?
No, but listen, you can say the same thing with Shawn Michaels, right? He won the title from Bret, and then that was the space after that first championship win where he proved himself. After that first win, this is the time where she proves herself.
But we knew them as people who would lose. As great as Flair was, his best matches, he lost.
Right.
Because he's a proper heel.
Right.
Ronda doesn't lose.
Right.
So that is the problem.
She did last night, right? She did
on
last
a roll
night.
Up, Becky had to be in a triple threat and still rolled her up. And then
the Charlotte one was illegitimate. It was basically illegitimate.
And it was Charlotte,
but this is what
how do you beat her clean?
This is what I don't understand though, is how does this take away from Liv, right? Because you're saying Ronda's unstoppable. Ronda's coming back for her belt. Liv wants to keep it.
How do you make it believable
going into
the
SummerSlam?
next match?
That's the question.
Not last night. Last night is great.
Yeah.
Like for a one night thing, fine with a roll. Like if you had to do a roll up, cool.
I hated it.
You used it. That was your one chance. You used the roll up.
So wait, so let me just be clear about what I'm hearing. Is that if they put on the poster Liv versus Ronda for SummerSlam, that no matter what story they try to tell in these 4 weeks, that's not a match that you're interested in because you think Ronda Rousey's just going to run through her?
How do you win that match? Because last night was the time to pin her clean, relatively. Because she's hurt by someone else. You hit a finisher, you can pin her. It's believable, doesn't hurt Ronda. You could then roll her up in SummerSlam and get out of there with the roll up.
It's a good.
Why do they waste that?
They wasted it last night, and then now you're stuck because now you want Liv to pin her clean, and no one's done it.
Or she's just going to lose easily. Or she has a month. Or she has a month reign, and she gets destroyed at SummerSlam in front of 40,000 people.
Yeah, who wants that?
And Ronda gets booed out of the building.
Have we already?
And now she's a
Have
heel.
we already decided that Liv's run is a failure?
No. They set her up.
It's a tough setup.
It's a tough. You got a short window to build her up into this Ronda match. Just storytelling stuff.
Yeah,
and that's why I wish she would have got some offense in because now we got to prove Liv's a threat. Because who has Liv beat that's on Ronda's level? It's tough.
She hasn't beat anybody that's on Ronda's level, but she got damn close with Bianca Belair. She got damn close with Becky Lynch. And she's gotten better after that. Because when she did that, I even came back on Cheap Heat and was like, yeah, we know it was good, but it wasn't good enough.
That's why Money in the Bank is kind of fundamentally flawed because it's always hard to have a babyface win it. Because how do you sneak someone? How do you sneak someone as a babyface?
Yep.
And then so she snuck her, and then you got to roll her up because you are a babyface.
Correct.
You can't just beat the hell out of Ronda. So now you're in a weird position, right? Every time a babyface has it, unless you go full Big E and let someone know you're coming, Like
RVD.
RVD
did it
like,
too.
so
you
here-
gotta let somebody know you're coming. Be like, I'm not sneaking you. We're going one-on-one. And that's
Right,
kind
and
of
then-
whack. It defeats
It's like-
the
it
purpose.
defeats the purpose.
So like
It's a
built
heel
for
tool.
heel
It's a great
thing,
point.
So it's very hard. It's not her fault. It makes it difficult.
Well, how about this though? I'll say this: it can still be an effective measure in that it accomplishes a couple of things. Number one, it takes Liv and puts her on another level.
Yes.
Number two, it can tell the story that makes Ronda a full-blown heel again. And they needed to
And
get there
that's
because
where I was going to go next.
That's-
we
because
gotta,
that's where we'll
we
get
got to
to.
turn it. We
It's
got to
time.
turn
It's
Ronda.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that this Ronda babyface run has been kind of a failure?
well, I mean,
Not kind of. I disagree on kind of.
yeah, I know.
Full-blown failure? Thank you. Okay.
I'd say we've been more critical on the podcast every week of that than basically anything. Yeah.
It's been rough. She's been miscast.
Yeah.
The woman, we've covered MMA for years. When she has piss and vinegar in her, she's great. When she's trying to manufacture smiles and shit, it's like,
It's not her. It doesn't come off as authentic.
yeah, she said, Shotzi, you want a championship Shotzi?
Like,
Like,
yeah.
come on, bro.
That's
You can't do
it.
that. We got to turn her
It's-
full-blown heel. Nasty heel.
I agree, and that is where this could be really useful.
Yep.
So if Liv's next month, if they do 3.5 weeks, they do a great job with Liv, get her ready. Then at that match, she fights hard.
Right.
She fights hard, loses, and gets beat down afterwards by Ronda after she wins the title. You'll be in a good spot, at least with Ronda.
You will.
Yep.
Yes.
And how much Liv is still elevated somewhat from the run. You know, like there's obviously no shame in losing to Ronda Rousey at this
not
point.
at all.
So it can serve a purpose, but I think we're all on the same page. Ronda has to be a heel.
Yes.
In that role, she can be incredibly effective as she is now. I just don't know. I mean, you heard even at WrestleMania, people were cheering for Charlotte. She made
Yeah.
Charlotte a babyface.
Yeah.
She did.
Crazy.
So
It's great. Natural born heel.
Yep.
She was that in MMA. She's that in pro wrestling. Just do it. Let's go.
Lean
Let's
in.
go. We got to go now.
So we have
lean
the
in.
other match, men's Money in the Bank match. We have a heel. Off rip, I don't understand what the hell's going on, right? And this is because you start off by putting Theory in this match. And he had one hell of a match earlier in the night. Loved him and Bobby.
Yeah, almost match of the night.
Yeah, great match.
if not
between
for the
those
Street
two.
Profits.
Right, until they ring the
Yeah,
bell
the
on that
Usos.
Usos Street Profits.
we
match.
shall talk about that banger. in a minute.
And amazing match Theory had. You introduce him out of the blue. Why did you have a to be determined slot in this match and fill it on Friday with Madcap Moss if you're just going to put someone else in the match? Just leave it to be determined. Get on Saturday and then you have a reason to announce another person.
I have no response.
The
Why
day
Madcap?
before.
I mean, I guess it's nice for Madcap Moss, but you didn't believe he was going to win the match.
No.
So it ended up being useless for him because, by the way, Madcap's having a nice build right now.
Yeah,
you don't need to have him have a match where he's not a huge factor. So I don't know why you didn't just leave the TBD. Oh, it's a great.
TBD.
I can't say anything.
And you feel it. It's so easy. It's so easy.
My tongue-in-cheek reason for that is because they realized they needed one more body to lift Omos up for that ticket.
They're doing the math. This is like a mathematician.
We'll get Theory in there.
Let's add one more. And I'll tell you this. Theory, what's so promising about Theory to me is how great he's been in spite of the booking around him.
Yes.
Because
Dude, it's
they
good.
have tried to make it as clunky as humanly possible. Everything with Theory is done in a way that I'm like, why is that how you got there? And yet, he's so damn good in my opinion. Like he actually is. I was talking about there's a booker yesterday. He actually does legit give me Cena vibes. Like he could.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were talking in our group chat yesterday, and Shoemaker was saying, I really like Theory, but like, you know, as he put
facial
it,
hair.
he's like the facial hair and the selfies, it all feels like jobber shit. I mean, it feels like mid-card shit, not jobber shit. Mid-card shit. I said, Cena rapping was mid-card shit.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no problem with doing mid-card shit
He
right
was
now.
over like Rover.
Exactly.
Yep.
I remember when Randy was on his real mid-card shit. After he'd had the title once, he went back down to the IC area, and he was in that reign. That's where he really started kind of finding the whole thing.
Pose.
And no disrespect, but that mid-card shit in all those cases are when people are out of touch with what culture is now.
Exactly.
So that's old head shit.
It's
It's a way
old-
of thinking. Because Cena was rapping and
Late.
rap was dope to us.
I was in high school with the word life.
Yeah, but like old white people didn't know what rap was cool or was going to take over like it did now. Rock was still around, country was still around. Now award shows are all rap. but to us, rap was dope. So it wasn't mid-card shit. He was doing what was dope.
Right.
So now selfies and all that shit, like old heads aren't on TikTok. That shit runs the world with the next generation.
Right.
So to kids, that's not mid-card shit.
Right. That's
main event shit.
That's
They
you know
don't
what?
see
It's
that.
a very good
so
argument.
That's old head thinking. Like, no. He's doing what's cool right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Old head shit is Brock. Like old head shit is cowboy hat, straw, flannel. No one does that shit on TikTok.
That's it.
Like this is main event shit.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. It's Logan Paul just signed a contract this week. God knows how much money.
Right.
Probably a lot of it. And by the way, I'm excited about it. Like
I am too.
it's
I
good.
am too.
That's good business.
well
He's
done.
built for this.
He's built for this. I frankly, the only thing I didn't like about it is that it's part-time. I would love if Logan Paul just said, this is what I'm doing now. I mean,
To be fair, you never know.
right.
Because
You don't.
Jake started boxing and it was a one-off. And next thing you know, he moves to Puerto Rico, builds a boxing gym. The guy is one of the biggest boxers on the planet. When these kids like put their head to something and they fall in love with it, they go from, oh, I tried this once to, oh, I'm going to sign a contract part-time. So next thing you know, this motherfucker's on every stop next year because he's like, why not? Oh, I can do my podcast from the road. Let's do it.
And in theory, and Logan Paul, you have, to your point, Kel, like a really solid next generation, what the kids are talking about thing, which is something WWE often struggles with.
They missed the boat a lot.
It's
They
always
got it now.
It's like whenever there's a TV show that's hugely popular, 5 years later the character shows up on TV that like how far after Sons of Anarchy did they try to do the cats in NXT?
Yeah.
I was like, Sons of Anarchy wrapped up in 2013. So this is something with Austin Theory and Logan Paul. At least it does feel right now.
Yeah.
And Theory,
He's got it.
He's got
Yeah.
it.
He's the good. Yeah, clunky way to get there. Real quick, Madcap Moss reminds me of Drew Galloway. The look, the hair. I was like, that's old Drew Galloway, Madcap Moss. Like they're heating him up kind of the same way. Yeah, everything about Theory's been clunky, but he makes it work.
Yep.
I think we all agree that he's a star.
Oh no, he's the real deal.
But how long does he hold this briefcase for?
I don't see him running up on Roman. So,
Nope.
and I feel like him with the briefcase.
Roman or Brock.
Or Brock, yeah. And I
Because
feel like
that's really the day to think about.
I think he beats Brock.
I feel like him with the
Reconsider.
briefcase though signals to me that Roman is he's going to be giving up those titles soon because you don't run up on he's not going to run up on Roman Reigns. He's not.
That's very interesting.
He is not running up on Roman Reigns. And I don't see him running up on Brock either. So maybe Roman makes it to Clash at the Castle and then he cashes it on Drew or somebody after that. But I don't see him holding it. I don't see him cashing it on Roman.
Well, I think you protect Roman in any situation because once you cash it, like we saw with Seth, comes a three-way match. So, like, Roman doesn't have to take a pin in that scenario
Yeah.
anyway. Like, you can always pin the other guy if need be. So it's
But
just like,
if the other guy is Brock, then I don't see
the other guy's Brock. I
No.
think they can pay Brock enough money to put this kid over. You look at when you're young, right? In theory, he's like 24, 25 or something.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, like when you're that young and you're going to be, theoretically, this briefcase means you're going to be WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
They don't put young champions over on random people. Brock didn't go over on someone random for his first time. Like they make a big splash when you win that belt.
Yep.
Austin went home because they wanted Brock to go over on Austin.
Yeah.
Right? Like they say, you're going to beat the biggest, baddest guy we have. Probably not Roman in this case, but you can pay Brock enough money so Theory looks huge by beating Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You might be right. All right, let's pivot because we know you got to get you guys out of here. This motherfucker Montez Ford is incredible.
It's time.
Let's talk about this tag match for a minute. Yo, they can work. These two can work till WrestleMania. I wouldn't care. That match was the goods. Were they wearing suede or velvet?
I couldn't
Street
tell. I thought it
Profits.
was velour.
I think
I said the
It was
same.
velour.
I thought it was velour.
I think Velour.
That was an interesting fashion choice. But listen, Montez Ford is now put on what I call Vince McMahon championship weight. That's that when you walk in and Vince is like, so vascular. That's that guy. He's become that.
He
Take
look,
an Ico Pro.
he is. He looks gargantuan.
He looks-
I saw him yesterday. He looks ridiculous. And that match was, man, it was so special. I watched it last night when I got back because I hadn't seen it. And oh my God, it was incredible. And I saw all of them, all four of them afterwards. They were all sort of backstage celebrating. They all knew.
Oh yeah.
They knew what they had done and how perfect it was. And I can't believe, because we have been on Cheap Heat, we've been saying week after week we want it. Well, yes, basically all of us have been saying we're ready for the Street Profits to something's got to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's either a refreshing, someone's turning on someone. We need to like get this thing going because they're both Montez. We know, okay.
Yes.
You know, my comparison is Montez is Andre 3000, and Angelo's in the tough spot of being big boy, which is he's really I think a superb talent.
Yeah.
He's
He
just
is.
next to a guy who's has everything imaginable.
Montez is talented in the ways that wrestling fans like can hold on to immediately.
Yes,
Like,
It's-
he's
you
good on the
grab
mic.
it.
He flies around the ring. He has spectacular moves. He's like animated, charismatic, and not that Dawkins can't be those things, but he's a little bit more subtle with it. And then they ring the bell,
You're too
and
kind.
then you realize that he is also special, bell to bell.
Yeah, and listen, and I don't think Montez and Bianca may be the two most talented people in the company in one
Yeah.
family.
Might be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're that good. And I can't believe they're planting the seeds of a breakup. But it's very clearly getting planted now 2 days in a row.
Montez is Shawn Michaels.
Has to be.
Yes,
He
100%.
is Shawn Michaels. He has every tool you have in the book. And unfortunately, Dawkins is Jannetty.
No,
Jannetty, again, we talk shitty about Jannetty. He wasn't a bad wrestler.
Very good.
Just in a tough
He
spot.
had all the tools. He could speak on the mic. He had the IC title right after they broke up. And that wasn't a shitty run.
Right.
He was okay. He was better than okay. He was always in Sean's shadow and he would get stuck. And the only person I've seen break out of that is Christian. And Lord knows I don't know how he did.
listen.
He went to TNA to do that shit. He didn't do it in WWE.
He became Christian
Cage.
Cage.
He was like, yo, I can't even break this. I'm gone. And then he came back. And that was the only way he got out of Edge's shadow.
Yeah, it's a good
Might
point.
be right.
No, I don't think. I think Jannetty is too harsh on Dawkins, man. I'm trying to think of who, because I mean, listen, you could even say Shawn and Diesel, and I'll give you that.
He ain't Diesel.
Well, yeah.
I'll give you that.
That would be
That's
that
a
way.
lot.
So you're trying to go from being something that's slightly critical to making him an instant Hall of Famer.
Listen,
I think he'd take that too.
Dawkins can go, and yes, standing
And
next.
he can talk too.
He can
Dawkins
talk.
Yes, he can.
Standing next to Montez, like I said, it's not as animated. It doesn't come off as charismatic, but I feel like he can. He's at a point now where he can stand on his own and thrive and do well.
That's very lofty goals. Because again, does he look like Apollo Crews? No.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. Does he talk like Kevin Owens? Because he wears basketball shorts and he's slightly bigger framed. Is he Kevin Owens?
He doesn't need to be
Was
Kevin.
Kevin Owens on the pay-per-view yesterday? Is he taking Kevin Owens' spot?
Kevin Owens was not on the pay-per-view.
Right.
Okay, he's not even going to get to Kevin Owens' level. If we're just being real.
So you're
'Cause
saying
he's-
here's my question. If he gets out of the basketball shorts
Yeah.
and gets himself as cut as his partner, could he then be capable of being more?
Yes, I think he needs, he doesn't eclipse anyone in any of the lanes he's in. He's not physically like just ripped. So you can't be like, oh, he could just be the best ripped talker, right? Like, no, like that's.
He needs
okay,
a
but-
rebranding.
Yeah,
He'll
if he's
need
a good
rebranding on the
talker,
split.
he's still not Kevin Owens if he doesn't change his body type, right? Like, and Kevin Owens is higher mid card, upper card guy. So it's like, you're saying he's going to have a good run, but I just see him stuck behind so many people that unfortunately he's not going to
But
get
what
that
about
chance.
let me just offer this, and I'm sort of between both of you probably on it because I think Angelo does have. I think he's underrated, and I think he has a lot of
Very.
potential.
He's absolutely
Very
underrated.
underrated.
And I also have concerns because it's a natural thing to have. My thought is, if they can have a great story, the two of them, if their breakup story can be done in a way that is really special, you know, like you're talking about running. Maybe they break up at SummerSlam and they run to Mania. You know, like you really let them have it be this personal, old school thing. I wonder if Angelo could come out of that in a really good situation.
He better be the heel.
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will.
Like that's
Could Tez be the heel?
He could be.
I think Tez could.
Tez
He
is
could be.
money if he's the heel and Angelo's gone. Because I love everyone to death, but I'm not naive. The giggly, smiley, he's not chubby, but like
I know what you're saying, but not the jack dude.
black baby face doesn't work.
Yeah,
It
they'll have a
doesn't.
tough time.
Montez could be a black baby face because he's athletic and he does special shit and people love him, much like Bianca. Every other time, if you're a black athlete or usually a minority, you're breaking through as a heel. So, yes, Montez is special. He breaks that mold. He's the,
He can do anything.
outlier. But I don't know. Dawkins better be the heel.
Dawkins is going to be the heel. First of all, Dawkins is going to be the heel. He's going to be the one who turns on Montez and beats the hell out of him. I think they'll have a good run with Montez getting bigger and bigger as a babyface, and Angelo will have the opportunity to prove himself as a heel. Maybe he ends up pairing up with someone else.
Give him
being
MVP
part of a
as a
faction.
mouthpiece.
Exactly. Now you could
Give
be in
him
business.
almost as the big bodyguard dude for him.
There's options.
There's options.
There's
They
options.
gotta make
And
it
then
work.
one day the dream is you get to our dream that we fantasy book on Cheap Heat. You get to the Montez Bianca heel turn, and both of them run the company as like just monster heels,
Like
on
the new
mic,
authority.
beating the hell out of everybody. I think it could be incredible.
It'd be beautiful.
They both have all the gold.
all the gold.
Yeah.
It's-
I love
We got to
that.
change Montez because the run happens when you call him Tez in all caps like Doom. and we're off to the races with Montez.
Yeah.
As long as he has the full name.
No,
it's
they
probably
just
still
call
his
me Tez.
Tez.
Tez, all caps.
Oh, and he just got to wear suits, no shirt under. Like, he better be the flyest heel.
That would be fire.
I
Yeah.
need to see him just fly, dripped out in gold, all that.
Yeah.
Question, just revolving around this match because it's his best match of the night. Usos. I always champion for the Usos. People say, who's the best tag team in the world? I understand. I love the Young Bucks. They're my number one usually. People mention FTR now. I always say, don't forget the Usos because they're in a company where they don't get to work a million different tag teams like everyone else. But I think they're
They're number one. I think they're number one. Honestly,
Okay.
I'll take them over all of them.
All right.
They're
and I'm cool with that. I
their
think that
legacy at this point is no matter which era they would have been in, they would have been amazing. If they had been around in 1978, they would have been amazing. If they were around in 1990, they would have been amazing. Attitude Era, they would have been amazing. This era, their Street Profits are really good, but they're young and not that experienced. Look at what they got last night.
Yep.
I mean, I'm saying the Street Profits were amazing last night, but you got to credit the veterans for last night. And this is what the Usos do, man. They do it with everyone. They do it with the New Day.
And
Everyone
it's
comes
been
along.
for years too. Like, we think about the Usos as a great tag team since they dropped like the fluorescent face paint and the colors, and they've been down since day one. But if you even look back before that, Roman and Seth, when they broke out of the Shield as a tag team, it was because they was working with the Usos. So like the Usos have been doing it the whole time. Like the Hart Dynasty, Tyson Kidd and Harry Smith, they did it with the Usos. So it's like
yeah,
you
they
said,
weren't over yet, but they were still good.
Yeah.
They've always been.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd love to see them get an opportunity to work outside the company because there's so many great tag teams that they'll probably never, because they're never leaving.
But they worked FTR. So we know what them and FTR looks like.
I
And that was my element.
just want the hinges off. Let them go. I want 30 minutes out of the Usos and bangers with FTR and the Young Bucks.
No, yeah, Young Bucks Usos would be fun. There's
would-
no
oh,
doubt
it'd
about it. It'd
be-
be a ball.
It'd be a
Incredible.
blast. It'd be a blast. I mean, the fact that they're still here is a testament to how good they are. And Jimmy and Jay are in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
You look at these guys from where they first came to where they are today. They're incredible.
Only thing is they'd have to beat the Young Bucks asses on just on the strength of how much tougher they are. Than the Young Bucks. Like,
Absolutely.
Like as real people, like when you see y'all, it shouldn't even be a wrestling match. They should just whoop their ass.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I love the Usos, but every time I close my eyes and I hear them talk, I'm like, am I on the corner? Am I on the block right
Yeah.
now? Because
Yeah.
like, yo,
Oh, yeah.
these cats are from my block. They're just straight up. But man, they can go.
They
That was a
can.
hell of a match. What is the next step though? Because they could do this forever. I feel like the New Day needs to enter this picture because they haven't mentioned this on commentary. They got to be creeping up on that record, that tag run.
They're up almost at a year. They're at 349, I think, today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's getting
Days.
close.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
It's about time. I mean, I'm here for a ladder match with the New Day, the Usos, and the Street Profits.
They're going to
We
run
might,
into
we
problems.
might just
sooner
get a
or
ladder
later.
match with the Street Profits at SummerSlam, right? Because how do you rectify what happened last night? Tez's shoulder was up.
Yeah.
I didn't,
Oh, right,
I didn't
right.
see it from the ring, but his
Yeah.
shoulder was up.
You gotta, you gotta take this to the next level.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the end, right? But what do you do for Survivor Series if you have
cares?
unified belts?
I'm
like,
over it.
You
over it.
How do you get matchups at Survivor Series?
Well, you go
Always
back.
been
You go back
champion
to
versus
this
champion.
Survivor Series.
Thank
you go
you.
back to that.
Right,
Because
now we're talking.
it doesn't have to be
Bloodline,
the night,
including
the
Sami Zayn.
night where
Would love that.
SmackDown and Raw go head to head because, like you said, the world title is on the same guy, both
Yep.
shows. Tag titles on the same team, both shows. So you take it back to that.
94.
Yeah, take it back to the essence of,
Ooh.
you know,
We've been
we
waiting
hate
for
each
that.
other. We'll team up, the enemy of my enemy, and do like a traditional.
Yeah, let's
Like
crew
that.
up.
I've been waiting for that. Honestly, Survivor Series to me has never been the same since it hasn't been that. Like it's they need to go back to.
And it was
what
Thanksgiving. It was what we did after we ate Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
We was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's time for Survivor Series. Now it doesn't have that. I needed to go back to that. That was my favorite Survivor Series. I love Survivor Series. Friend of my friend is my enemy. Made it work all the time. I don't
Every
need this
time,
brand
yeah.
supremacy shit because I don't even know what show anybody's on anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't
I know,
matter.
and I really do want to see if it. I'll just say this: if they don't ever do anything truly with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, it's such a waste. Because
crime.
you've had the guy dressed up doing this whole thing. It's really funny. It's
Yeah.
really cool that he's doing it.
Yes.
You gotta tie it in. He's got to join the Bloodline in some way. There has
He'd be
to
a perfect fourth for Survivor Series too.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be
Like-
it would be Mage. Like he should be there. You know what I mean?
Oh God, they got to do it.
They have something special there. But
They-
they always have something special.
It's always
Yeah.
there.
Sammy and Kevin are so invaluable to
They're
this
always
company. They make anything that doesn't look like it's going to work. They make it work every single
Ezekiel, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
Come
there's
on.
no.
Yeah, shouts
That
to KO
shit
for
is
that.
great.
It was great.
KO
That
made
is-
that work.
All right. So, real quick, we all know the match of the night last night, but I just want to know one match already. We're fantasy booking before we get out of here. SummerSlam, what match has to be on that card to really steal the show? We know the main event. What match would we make after everything that happened yesterday? After everything that's going on, what's the one match you want on that card no matter what?
I think I said it already, man. Usos, Street Profits, ladder match, both sets of titles hanging above the ring, and then make them have a definitive winner, especially after what happened last night.
That's it. That's it.
No,
You stole
that's,
mine.
yeah, that's,
I'm good. Greg got
That's-
it.
I'm wondering. Well, I'm wondering where Bianca's going to land for SummerSlam.
that is mine.
Right? Yeah. And is it Rhea?
Nope.
It can't. I mean, it feels like the extension of the Carmella thing. It feels like Rhea's out for a little bit longer.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know the extent of her injury.
I think you need the return of Bailey.
Okay. First Bianca.
And I need Bailey versus Bianca.
Bianca.
Heel
That's-
Bailey
oh,
back.
Mage.
I need that match on the card.
I'm into it.
Because I don't need another Carmella match. I need
No.
Bailey.
No. She absolutely needs a real formidable.
like that.
And
feud.
they messed up Carmella. Even going into this match, they had a little opportunity, I thought. And Friday night, Monday night when Carmella had a chance to get an upper hand on Bianca, and she
Yeah,
just
they
got her
did.
ass kicked. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why do I believe she's going to win?
And she did well in the match anyway.
And she had a great
she's a
outing.
great worker.
She was great. She was great. I love that idea. I'll go with that too. Bailey and Bianca would be fantastic.
I want them to heat up Shayna Baszler because there's a story to tell with Bianca and Shayna that Bianca never got over that hump.
And
in
then of course
NXT.
there's still Shayna and Ronda that they're
Yeah.
just like
Right.
not doing. Like it doesn't make
If
sense.
you're not going to do that match, at least put them together.
Right.
do something.
Let's do
Like,
something.
Something. Shayna needs a spot on one of the cards. All right. But that's all the time we have today. Recapped Money in the Bank. Thank you guys for being here.
No,
And-
thanks for having us.
Oh, and-
Beautiful.
What a beautiful,
Palatial.
luxurious experience this is.
Anytime. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll make this quick. Shout out to Blue Wire Studios here in the Wynn Resort, Las Vegas. Everyone in the booth. Producer Cole, Bay for always holding it down. Antoine on the boards. Brian for making us look pretty with all the lightings. Follow us on social media at Corner Podcast _ on Twitter, at Corner Club for Life on Instagram. Check out our YouTube page where you can see all of our videos, including this one. One hell of a show, one hell of an event, made Money in the Bank. We appreciate you all. Until next time, we're out.
Peace.
Peace.